This video contains the top 3 best Town Hall 15 attack strategies using the new hero equipment to 3-star any base. So let's start with our third best army, the Zap Witches, a very strong option that is now pretty much viable with the Root Riders. You want to make sure that you're starting off with the Zap Quake. Now this is going to depend. If the scatter shots are within the core of the base, you're going to go for the Infernos, even if they're also within the core. Try to look for any value that you can get with the 5 lightning and 1 earthquake spell, like a spell tower, or even a couple builder huts around there as well, but you're going to zap out both of them. Typically, if you're zapping out Infernos, it's only going to take 10 lightning and 2 earthquake. However, if the scatter shots are not in the core, you want to make sure that you're zapping those out using 6 lightning, which is going to be 5 regular lightning spells with 1 earthquake and 1 max lightning from your clan castle. You do that on both scatter shots and allow your Root Riders, your Witches, and your heroes to go for the multi-target Infernos that are in the core of the base. Just be sure not to be slow on your deployment with your lightnings, especially if there are builder huts. So I would recommend using your earthquake spells either over the builder hut or just be fast with your placement so they don't have a chance to heal those buildings back up. Pretty much from this point on, you can practically spam in your attack. I would start with the Ice Golems to tank for the Root Riders, which are going to tank for your Witches. I would also be very patient with your heroes. Make sure that they are going into the core, especially the Barbarian King. I'd use an early Grand Warren ability with the Healing Tome due to the Witches and the Root Riders needing some sort of healing. The Root Riders are taking a lot of damage, and the Witches are just really squishy. So you want to make sure that you are having the best of both worlds. Just make sure that you're able to continuously move yourself in. Tank having the Barbarian King in there with his giant gauntlet really does wonders. You just want to make sure that the Witches are either staying somewhat in the core while some go onto the outside of the ring in certain situations, or on the outside of the base, which will still allow you to move around. Having that Royal Champion to also help both tank and deal some damage as you move in is incredibly nice. You just really want to make sure that you're able to get a good chunk of everything to go into the core, because the Town Hall remains untouched. It can be a really difficult time for you. So you just want to make sure that you're having the most out of it and you're able to 3-star more often than not with the Zap Witches. Now for the second best army, we have the Super Barch. However, unlike before, you are now no longer restricted to using the Grand Warden with your blimp, and instead you could use balloons or rocket balloons or a mixture of both in order to look for seeking air mines and to also tank for your battle blimp. You want to make sure that once it finds a location, then you want to use an invisibility, letting your filler troops go out, then using your 2 clones, rage, and then starting to time your invisibility spells every 4 seconds, and you just want to remove anything around that location. This could be an Inferno, Monolith, Eagle, etc. So in some situations, you are going to go in away from the Town Hall, and you're going to get some value this way with your super archers. However, you could also do the same thing by going into the core. Just make sure that you have some of your rocket balloons trying to go into the core and looking for any seeking air mines. So this can still work against a ring style design. You just need to make sure that you are getting the most out of it and probably also skipping with your clone spells. Of course, the other thing is just make sure that you're not landing your blimp on areas where there could be giant bombs, small bombs, tornado traps, poison from the poison spell tower, or even bomb towers. You just have to be very careful of these things so you don't end up losing all of your super archers. Now from here, you should have already lured out the CC, and now it's time to send in some of your super barbarians to create the funnel, and of course, sending in your heroes. Super barbarians are important to setting the funnel regardless of the base, because you want to make sure that your heroes, your king, queen, and warden, alongside the Root Riders, Ice Golem, Apprentice Warden, and Electro Titan are being able to move in. While they're moving in, you got that rage gem of the Grand Warden, which really does wonders. Other than this, you're going to send in the super barbarians to help continue to create the funnel. You want to control where the Root Riders will go and how they'll be able to break open walls. You do also want to make sure that you're using your Barbarian King's giant gauntlet to get a lot of nice value, or just using his ability in general, especially as you get closer to the Town Hall. Using a Grand Warren ability here is incredibly nice as it protects everything from that Town Hall poison. Of course, if you have any free spells, you could use that on something like a single target Inferno or even the Town Hall. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to send in your super barbarians controlling the pathing, and of course, having your back-end royal champion. Her goal is just to basically finish off the rest of the base with help of the heroes and maybe the help of the rage gem, so you have a lot of situations where you can definitely get a lot of value. Other than this, just make sure that you're using more super barbarians to clear out buildings and make sure that you are tanking for certain defenses, which should allow you to have a 3-star more often than not with a strategy like this. It's a bit different than the way that you're used to running it, but it's way strong. And with arguably the best army right now, we have the Queen Charge Root Riders. They are very, very powerful. But we want to start with the Queen Charge portion. You're going to start off by funneling her. You need funneling in order to make sure that you're able to get her to go towards the Town Hall. So using baby dragons, sneaky goblins, or even balloons, you can basically use those to create the funnel. You do want to make sure that you're using any super wall breakers to open up the base and get your queen to go towards the Town Hall. I'd recommend having the Apprentice Warden with her, just so that way she gets the HP increase and of course a nice extra amount of DPS from the Apprentice Warden since they have the same range. Other than this, you want to make sure that you're able to get in for the Town Hall, so maybe having an invisibility spell can very much help the queen and of course the Apprentice Warden stay alive. And in this situation, you just want to make sure that you're able to get to the Town Hall, deal with the enemy CC, and that should be it. Otherwise, you just want to make sure that you're able to deal with that CC with a poison and possibly a freeze. If there's any value that you can get on that freeze, like the monolith, that's even better. You just want to make sure that what you're doing is you're able to deal with a lot of different defenses as you move yourself in. And this way, on a more offset design, whether it's an anti-3, diamond, or even a teaser base, you want to make sure that you're dealing with that Town Hall pretty easily, which should be a given. However, if it's a ring style design, you got to make sure that you find a way to funnel to get that queen to go into the core, being able to break open the walls to get her in, and still being able to use either freeze and poison to deal with the enemy CC, and of course to get that Town Hall within the core down before you send in your Root Riders. So from here, you'll basically gonna be sending in your Root Riders with the Grand Warden and the Battle Drill. This is if you do not need to use the Flame Flinger for any type of funneling or there's no value for it. Otherwise, you want to make sure that you are able to push your way in with the Royal Champion also being used as well. You can use any leftover rage spells, which can provide a lot of support for them. This is where the Healing Tome is extremely good for the Root Riders, as it allows you to keep them alive while also pairing them up with rage spells for them to do some crazy damage and be able to get through the base like it is nothing. Being able to break through walls and being able to just really overwhelm defenses. Now, of course, this is not the only thing you can do. You also have access to the Rage Gem, and this is only if you necessarily don't need any more rage spells or you have very minimal rage spells. Otherwise, either the Healing Tome or the Rage Gem works just as effective, and you can still 3-star with either one. It really doesn't matter. Other than this, it just shows how strong the Root Riders are with the Queen Charge. You can really get through and get a lot of nice value from them.